Hey bro, we started the year off strong because in January I picked up so many new fragrances and these ones in particular were my absolute favorites, so stay tuned. Yo, what's up? Hunter here and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance contests. You already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos, and be sure to check me out over on my Instagram page. But today is of course my favorite pickups of January. We're finally wrapping up the month and I hope all you guys are having a great start of the year of 2025, hitting all your New Year's resolutions. I know I'm trying to stick to mine, but it is kind of difficult, but we all got to stay disciplined and hit them goals that we set out to achieve. Today's video I'm going to be talking about 10 of my favorite fragrance pickups of January, and also leave a comment down below your guys' favorite pickups of the month as well. But let's not waste any more time and get right into it. So I did pick up a few Lattafas. However, only one actually made this list, and it is Lattafa Sublime in this kind of Oud for Glory red bottle. I know they have 4 of them. I believe the only one I'm actually missing is the white one, which I believe is Honor and Glory. And I've heard a ton of hype about that one, so I need to find it and pick it up. But I did find this one at Burlington and scooped it up right away just to kind of fill out the collection. With Sublime, this is going to be a ultra fruity, kind of fresh, vanilla-centric fragrance, especially when it dries down. It really opens up like very fruity and fizzy, almost like a fruity kind of soda. And I believe you get like apple, plum, lychee, a little bit of rose in here as well. This one is unisex, but it might lean a little bit too feminine for a lot of you guys watching this. But if you wanted a fragrance that kind of smells like a fruity soda, very fizzy, fruity, and also very sweet, then this might be one you want to check out, because at the price you really can't beat it as well. So that's why it is making a list, because it is somewhat unique. The next fragrance on the list is a fragrance that I've been wanting for a while and finally pulled the trigger on it, and it is Armaf's Club de Nuit Precious One, which of course is inspired by Absolute Aventus by Creed. And I can definitely see the similarities between these. If you don't know, Club de Nuit was like the first fragrance that kind of popped off when it comes to those clones inspired by Aventus style fragrances. I'm a big fan of the original Club de Nuit EDT. I have the EDP, and I also have Precious One, which by the way is by far the best one in the line. This stuff is outstanding. I would basically say this is like the niche take on Club de Nuit, because if you think about the original, of course, it's very cheap smelling, chemical heavy, very screechy and sharp. It kind of smells like a cleaner. This one though smells 10 times the quality of the original Club de Nuit. You of course get the pineapple fruitiness, you get the ambroxan in here, and it also kind of has a sweetness from the caramel and the pear combination too, which makes it a little bit different. But this stuff is so sexy, very, very strong. I believe it is an extrait de parfum. But for being an Armaf, it is a little bit on the higher end side when it comes to pricing. I think I paid around 50 bucks for this one, but I'm glad to have it in the collection because this one outshines the rest of the line. And that's exactly why this beauty had to make the list. I'm gonna have to review this very, very soon. Next one on the list is a brand new release from the house of Fleur, and this one is Golden Rule. And just take a look at that beautiful golden style bottle. I'm a big fan of gold bottles, and this one is stunning. And I'm also a pretty big fan of the house of Fleur. I do own almost every single one of them in their collection. My favorite though is probably Tangerine Boy, which is somewhat similar to Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim. Huge fan of that one. Golden Rule though is a pretty decent fruity kind of pear style opening fragrance that also has this nice kind of tropical mixture going on from like coconut water, coconut, with this very sweet benzoin vanilla dry down. And I can see this one doing very well for the brand, especially for the ladies out there. I can see them being a big fan of Golden Rule, especially if you love those fruity, sweet, tropical fragrances and you kind of like going to Sephora. I can definitely see this one catching a lot of people's attention. And that's why I had to make the list, because this is actually a solid release from Fleur. Next on the list is one of the most hyped up designer fragrances so far this year, and it is Gucci Guilty's Love Edition 2025, which I did recently review. And I gave it a great review because this stuff is very solid. It is somewhat similar to Yves Saint Laurent's Myself, but if you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of that one because it goes too much into the white powdery floral direction, which this one also kind of has a similar take. But man, the juniper in here in the opening is amazing. Absolutely tones down the white florals compared to Myself, and it has of course that kind of new modern molecule called Ambrofix in the base. Definitely one of the best Guiltys in the line. Hats off to Gucci with this brand new launch. It smells extremely clean, kind of like fabric softener. It smells very professional, office safe without a doubt, and could be easily worn as a signature scent if you wanted to. So of course, the brand new Love Edition absolutely had to make this list for January. Next fragrance on the list is another one I found over at Burlington, and it is Rave Now, which got a ton of hype over on TikTok, which honestly you can't say much about that because TikTok people hype up almost every single fragrance out there if it's cheap and whatever, but this one though was actually pretty good. It is similar to, of course, Aventus, but it takes pineapple to a whole nother level in Rave Now, guys. It's basically like pineapple, 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 and it gives off almost like a pineapple juice. If you love pineapple, this is gonna be one you want to check out, especially for like the $20 mark you can get this baby for, because you're honestly getting a great bang for your buck with Rave Now. And if you don't know, I believe Rave is actually kind of a sub-brand to Lattafa, which many people actually might not know that. But just a banger if you're looking for that kind of pineapple-centric forward Aventus scent profile, you will get it with Rave Now. And I also did review this one not too long ago if you want to go check out that review, but this had to make the list hands down. Next up is another fragrance I found over at the rack stores on like extra clearance, brand new, so I had to scoop it up, and it is Montblanc's Legend Red. So Legend Blue just came out, I think, last year, and that was one of my favorite designer launches of 2024. Was a big fan of it. And after realizing how good Legend Blue was, I was kind of curious about Legend Red. Almost bought it a few times, but when I came across it for around like 30 or 40 bucks for the 100 ml, I was like, man, I might as well check it out, pick it up, see how good it is compared to Blue. And honestly, I'm not disappointed at all. Compared to Blue though, it's less aromatic. It opens up with this very citrusy kind of fruity blood orange note with this grapefruit and cardamom kind of combination, a little bit spicy, and of course still carries over that original Legend DNA, which gets compared to something like Abercrombie & Fitch's Fierce. And I gotta say, when it comes to Montblanc, I think Legend is by far the best line in their entire brand. Over Explore, over Individual, guys, I just think Legend nails it. I will say though, I don't think I prefer this one over Legend Blue, but still one of the better Montblanc fragrances that they have to offer. And that's exactly why this baby also had to make this list. Next on the list is also a brand new fragrance from Zamaya, and this one is called Tiramisu Cocoa. So if any of you guys love those sweet gourmand fragrances, or just ever wanted to smell like tiramisu yourself, then this is it right here, because it absolutely captures what tiramisu smells like in a bottle flawlessly. When I spray this and wear it, I'm literally transported to like sitting at a coffee shop with those aromas around me, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite kind of smells when it comes to places. I love just sitting in a coffee shop, getting work done, smelling the coffee beans, etc., all the desserts, and this is absolutely perfect for that. It also has this boozy amaretto note in the opening, which gives it a little bit more character, which is literally one of the best gourmands in my collection behind me. And if you want to check this out, they are fairly cheap, and you can use code HUNTER15 on the Zamaya website, and I think you can get it for around like almost 40 bucks. These bottles are absolutely awesome with the magnetic caps. I also do have Tiramisu Caramel, which leans a little bit more feminine, so I'll say that one for my girl, even though it has this beautiful whiskey note in that. Just for me personally, I do prefer Tiramisu Cocoa, so it had to make this list. Next is an elixir that I found on clearance at the rack stores, picked it up right away, and it is Ralph Lauren's Ralph Club's Elixir. Now, I am a big fan of the original Ralph's Club EDP. I thought it was honestly a pretty solid designer release, but Elixir takes it to a whole nother level, guys. This smells like something that should absolutely be almost twice its price and niche, because you're gonna get this very tart grapefruit in the opening mixed together with this seductive, sexy, spicy cardamom. That dries down to this beautiful, earthy, lipsticky orris note. Most elixirs, from what I could tell, always use like the note of orris or iris, and I'm not sure, maybe just because it smells expensive, which trust me, this stuff smells very, very expensive for what it is. And you just get this beautiful kind of leathery, dark dry down with this resinous benzoin. And I actually found this on clearance, I think at Marshall's, for around 60 bucks for the full size, brand new. And I think this retails for around 140, so I was like, might as well, right? And I'm always curious on how brands do their elixir, since elixir is like the new thing in perfumery for the last couple of years or so. It's most of the time just means something that smells expensive and very strong, which this is also a great performer. But Ralph's Club Elixir had to absolutely make this list. Next up is literally a work of art, and it is Etat Libre d'Orange, Story of Your Life. Now, the only other fragrance I owned from his house was I Am Trash, and honestly, I'm not a fan of that fragrance. Gave it a bad review. However, Their new launch, Story of Your Life, is an incredible work of art masterpiece, guys, because it's something that's very different that I've never smelled anything quite like this, and I've smelled thousands of fragrances in my life, because this is going to be a very warm, comforting, gourmand. It has a note of bread mixed together with this boozy rum note, a little bit of this chocolatey cacao and sweet vanilla. And geez, it smells like I'm at a bakery sipping on some rum. That's exactly where this fragrance transports me to, guys. Very comforting smelling. And like I said, I've never seen another fragrance have the note of bread, but it actually kind of gives off this fresh baked bread vibe. I don't know about you, but for me, it's one of the most homey, comforting scent profiles ever. And that's exactly why Story of Your Life had to make this list, and I'm probably going to be reviewing this one very, very soon because it definitely deserves it. The last one on this list is one of the most addictive vanillas I've ever smelled, and it's brand new. It's coming from Infiniment Coty. This one's called Encore, Fois, which I think I'm pronouncing it right, hopefully, but this is a brand new line from Coty, which if you don't know, Coty is actually the brand that owns so many brands of fragrances. It's sort of like LVMH, if I'm not mistaken, and they decided to come out with their own fragrance collection. I believe they came out with 14 of these not too long ago. This one, however, is a very addictive, high quality smelling vanilla, and it's not going to be that kind of sweet, fake vanilla. It's going to be a very kind of high quality, realistic, spicy vanilla through and through. By far the most dominant note in this fragrance, with I believe a little bit of these balsamic tones mixed together with the vanilla. And the vanilla in this one does kind of remind me of something like the vanilla in Spice Bomb, which is great because I love when my vanilla is more so on the spicy side of things rather than like that creamy sweet side. And guys, these are not cheap fragrances at all. I think these are almost around 300 for a 75 ml. This is a niche collection from Coty. And I also did get a discovery set of all 14 other fragrances that I still have to go through and try each and every single one of them, but so far this is by far my favorite one. So for vanilla lovers out there, you have to put this on your list, at least get a sample or a decant of it, because this one is stunning. That's gonna do it for my favorite fragrance pickups of January 2025. Let me know down below your guys' favorite discoveries, pickups, whatever in January. I'm curious what you guys are picking up to start off the year. But besides that, leave a like, subscribe below if you haven't already, and of course, I'll catch all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.